Welcome to another day of Smokin' with Joe. Today we're going to prepare some steelhead. I've got 1,200 grams of steelhead here, and we're going to give it a rub today. So here's how we do it. Up until recently, I would typically just grab the salt and sprinkle it on, and when it looked about right, that was good enough. I've learned that if you can actually be more exact, you're going to have a better product at the end of the day, and you're going to be able to duplicate it over and over and over again. So what I've done is I figured out that around 1.5% salt to the weight of the fish is actually a pretty nice ratio. Okay, so here's how I figure out what a 1.5% ratio of salt to fish is going to be. I know that this is 1,200 grams of fish, so that means 1.5, which is the percentage that I want, times the weight of the fish, 1,200, times, gives me 1,800. Now I have to divide it by 100 to give me the percentage, or the actual weight. So divided by 100. Okay, that gives me 18 grams of salt. Start off with the scale. I'm going to zero it out. So it says 0. Now all I do is add salt. 18 grams. There you go. So I use a spice shaker to put my rubs on with. It gives me a nice consistent layer of whatever I want to put on it. I can mix up the ingredients quite nicely. The cool thing about this is it's got a nice sprinkle head, so it's a cool little package. So salt in, and I typically use about 4 times as much sugar as I do salt, so 4 times 18, that's about what, 72 grams. And we're zeroed here, okay. Almost there. Okay, close enough. About 72 grams of brown sugar. So next I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. 2 teaspoons of onion powder. And they're pretty level teaspoons, they're not heaping or anything like that. And of course, 2 teaspoons of pepper. All right. Just gonna shake it up till it looks evenly distributed. Now the cool thing is with this is that I know I'm going to use it all because I measured the ingredients. I'm going to use all of it, not some of it. All right. So I'll just give it a nice even application using this. And I know that the mix is pretty even because it's all shaken up and evenly distributed. Okay, there we go. So I've just added a nice even coat to the 2 fillets. It's going to go into the fridge now and sit overnight, and we'll take it out and smoke it in the morning. Okay, so it's been 24 hours since I put the rub on the steelhead fillets, and you'll probably notice right away that the skin side is up. Well, I realized as soon as I put them in the fridge that I had to flip them over so that as the liquid drained out of the flesh, it would actually dissolve the sugar and the salt and the flavors, and I wanted the actual steelhead flesh to absorb those flavors, so I plunked them in the other way around. That way it would sit in the juice all night. So all I'm going to do now is take them out and then just kind of damp them off with a paper towel. because what I want to do is save the flavors on the actual fillets. If I wash them under cold water, which some people prefer to do, to me it just gets rid of flavor. There we go. As you saw before, I brined some steelhead, 24 hours in the fridge, and I also put a dry rub steelhead together, which is also requiring 24 hours in the fridge. So this time I'm going to actually just put the same ingredients on the steelhead within about a half hour of putting it in the smoker. I've never actually done that, and I want to see how it turns out. So I weighed the fillets in order to determine how much salt I was going to need for a 1.5% salt to weight ratio. And you'll notice that I'm putting the salt on first. And the reason for that is because I want to make sure that I get all of the salt on the fillets in order to maintain that 1.5% ratio. And the other reason is by putting the salt on first, it gives it time to start to dissolve and soak into the fillets. If I would have mixed the salt in with the other ingredients, chances are a lot of it would have just rolled off when I sprinkled it on. Okay, that's it. It's coated. I'm going to let it sit for half an hour. We'll see you in a bit. Okay, as you can see, I've got the fillets in the smoker. I've set it up where I've got the 24-hour brine on the top, I've got the 24-hour rub in the middle, and I've got the 1-hour rub on the bottom. And I've also labeled them so that as I swap them around so that I can get a consistent smoke and temperature on the different racks, I don't want to get them mixed up, so that's why I have labels on them. Okay, so that's about it. Let's get the show on the road. For the setup, I'm really going to just do a couple of things very simply. It's going to be 150 degrees, 3 hours of cook time, and 3 hours of smoke. So a very simple setup. Plus I'll have 9 bisquettes in the feeder, and they'll be Alder. Other than that, I'm going to come back in about an hour, swap the racks. It all happens magically by itself. See you then. Well, here's your coupon code. Make sure you take it over to bradleysmoker.com. We'll see you again soon.